Okay, let's talk about what a deer smells, the ability of a deer. It is measured by the cells in the noses, okay? They call them olfactories. And leave it to the guys at, the Georgia Deer Institute down there, buddy. They've got it together on this kind of stuff. Leave it to a lot of places nowadays. We have basically about 400 smell olfactories, a human being does. We do not have the ability to smell a deer. Now, if an elephant walks in the room, you can smell that stinky sucker. That's all it is to it. But a deer is not that way. But when you walk into the woods to a deer, that's like an elephant walking into the woods. Yes, scent is very, very important whenever it comes to hunting. Now, I've heard so many myths in the past, okay? Well, my granddad used to smoke while he was hunting, and he still brought home deer. Okay, we've heard that. We've heard the fact Indians didn't use things. Yes, they did. Well, I just use a smoke on my clothes and all that, and that takes care of it. There's all different type things out here. Why do some things work and other things don't? Hey, go to the aisle at the sporting goods store, and there's so many different cover-ups and all this stuff whenever it comes to deer scent. Well, it's a very simple thing. If you go into an aisle at a grocery store or wherever you buy your deodorant products, how many products are there that's out there? Now, let me ask you this. How many products actually work for you? One thing that might work for one person doesn't work for another person. The reason is because we're all different. We have different chemical makeup. Bacteria acts differently on our skin than it does other people's skin. So what deodorant might work for one person doesn't work for you. You just smell bad and everybody stays away from you. Okay. A deer. Let's look at the bloodhound now. And this is the best way to describe how well a deer can smell. A bloodhound, whereas we have 400 olfactories, a bloodhound has found to have 230-something million of them. A bloodhound, here's some statistics that have been known. A bloodhound has been able to track somebody over 135 miles. A bloodhound has been able to pick up a scent of an individual that is 12 days old. A bloodhound has the capability of finding one individual scent at Grand Central Station, where thousands of people have walked. A bloodhound also has the ability to know which direction a person walks. Simply by, now he might get out here and sniff around a little bit, but he'll pick up. And they believe that the reason is because whenever a person makes a step and another step and another step, as that person makes those steps, there's a certain amount of scent that dissipates, okay? And then there's greater scent. So a bloodhound will not chase a trail backwards, he'll chase a trail forward. That's something to think about. Now, a lot of people believe that if you jump into the water and you run down a creek or whatever like that, a bloodhound cannot follow you because the water washes away the scent. Here's what they have found out about that, is that scent will come off of you and will cling to the brush that's around the creek area. And that bloodhound can follow that scent by smelling the brush on the side of the creek. Now that makes a pretty amazing animal, and you cannot run from a bloodhound. That's all it gets down to it. So 230-something million olfactories versus our 400 olfactories. Now, a deer has been found to have 290 something million, almost 300 million olfactories. So a deer can actually smell better than a bloodhound. Before you hunt, you have to make a plan. Okay? I might stay away from spicy foods the day before because I don't want that smell to be there, that smell that starts coming out of a human being. Individuals will smell different based upon the type of food that they eat. I want to use scent control as best I can. And yes, the top hunters out here, the top successful hunters are very aware of scent control, and they use everything that they can. Now, why doesn't scent control work for some people and other people? Well, it's the same way as deodorant. So you might see a lot of things out here and they say, yeah, I've tried this scent control and it's terrible. It doesn't work. It doesn't work this way. It doesn't work that way. Well, there's one scent control that has worked for me. Now, that's not to say it is the absolute best, and it might not have worked for you. But that's Nose Jammer. Nose Jammer has worked for me. I'll take a bath in Nose Jammer before I go out. I'll put on clothes before I go out. Whenever I get to where I want to hunt, I will change into my hunting clothes, which I have in a tote. Now, I'm going to try some different things this year whenever it comes to scent control, and that is I'm going to try some natural things. I'm going to start putting leaves and acorns and all type of stuff. I'm going to start mixing it in with my clothes that I have in a plastic tote and see if that helps. We want to wash our clothes in a detergent that has no scent in it. I've heard that the detergent All, you can get a scent free. I've heard Arm & Hammer. I know that you can buy detergents out here such as Nose Jammer. I've used that before. And however, I can tell you this, their deodorant, don't get it for me, but I'm smelling pretty rank by the end of the hunt. Okay, and then so we use cover-up. You might use, once you get there, might try to add some more cover-up. You might try to add all different things. The whole point is this, is that you have got to find what works for you. It might not work for another individual, and there's no reason to get into a heated argument over it or whatever, because one that might work for one might not work for the other. But you have to use the one that works for you. And yes, it gets a little expensive, but once you find it, then that's great. The only way that you can control your scent when you get into the woods is by trial and error. Now, playing the wind doesn't always work, because if you have a large canopy over you, a tree canopy, the wind can come in and swirl in that tree canopy, go around trees and all types of things. By the time it's 100 yards downwind, you could have a 100-yard area that deer can smell you in. You want to take every advantage that you possibly can. So use scent control, try different scent controls. I know it's expensive. I know it is. But try it. Sometimes the best scent control just can be eliminating the scent using the right things. Do not put in fabric softener and all that kind of stuff with your clothes. It's a whole different thing. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this helped. I know I did not give you the magic bullet right here to give you your scent control and everything. It's just something you have to find. That's the bottom line. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe.